Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Mafex BANE from Batman Knightfall, and this one is probably one of the most anticipated figures that I plan to be reviewing this year. I think a lot of people were very excited about this, especially to go with the Batman that I reviewed not that long ago. And I'm hearing a mixed bag of things now that it's out. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's awesome, it's everything we hoped it would be, and other people are saying there's a lot of stuff wrong with it and we don't like it that much. I'm here to tell you it's not perfect, but it is pretty solid, and I'm going to talk about all of the good, all of the bad. You'll be able to decide if you want to get one by the end of this review. So let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, before we get into the figure, I do want to get into my package. It is a good one. I like this package. I don't like the photo they used, and that leads me to my very first point. A lot of things that I saw about this figure, like this photo here, basically all of the photos, not all of them, but a lot of the photos, made the figure look kind of disproportionate and janky. Some of the photos look good. This one in particular, I'm sure you guys have seen a bigger version of this at some point. Some of the photos make him look really good. Some of them make him look disconnected. That aside, it's a really nice package opening at the top and on the front. Figures front and center, accessories. This is about as good a package as you can get, other than perhaps photos that maybe do a little bit better of making the figure look good, but still, that's not a big deal. So decent packaging for you inbox collectors. For everyone else, we have the figure. Alright, first thing I will do is I'll take a height measurement, and as I'm doing that, I'll let you know he's in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. I put a link in the description below. You can get one for yourself if you want to. 19 centimeters to the top of his head. That's going to be about 7.5 inches. So he has some serious size on him for being an import figure. Mafex tends to be closer to a proper 1/12 scale. Here he is up against Marvel Select Cap. Obviously, Bane's supposed to be big, so he's underscaled, but almost the same size. Here he's up against a DC, McFarlane, Multiverse, whatever they're called. Batman, definitely fudgeable. Bane should probably still be bigger, but remember, this version of Bane is not the giant, huge, hulked out version. And then with Marvel Legends, I'd say that's a pretty good scale, which is pretty much what they were aiming for, I think, because here he is up against Mr. Twisted Waist Batman. Let's just untwist it a little bit. And yeah, so that works. I think that's good scaling wise. Now, I do want to mention, I'll start with the things that people have noted as bad. There are 3 things I've seen as I've gone through like Instagram or whatever. The first thing is his head is too big. The second thing is his traps look weird. This whole area up here looks weird. And the third thing is his feet are gigantic. We'll start with the feet. They are pretty big. I don't think they're as big as they look in photos. I know that sounds weird, but in person it doesn't look as bad, but they are too big. I'd say I'd take off at least 10% to make that look good. They're too big. I don't think it's, like I said, it's not as bad in person, and I think you could probably live with it once you pose them, but they are definitely too big. The next thing I'll talk about is the traps. And a lot of their photos accentuated this. The traps do look bad if you don't have the shoulders lined up like this. I think like this, he looks fine. But what you have to do is make an effort to get the inner shoulder ball peg all the way up and this piece all the way down. So you have to kind of use your finger to mush this down and then kind of slide the shoulder peg up to create as little bit of a gap as possible. If you have it like this, and it's going to be kind of tricky to do it. If you do it like that, it looks really dorky and weird because he loses all of his shoulder area up here, the trap area. It looks weird. So you have to make sure you get that plastic down all the way, and that shoulder as high up into that plastic as you can, and then I think it looks just fine. It doesn't really bother me at all. It's a little bit of a nuisance, but I wouldn't say it's a problem, so I'm okay with that. Then the last thing is the head is too big. Yes, the head is definitely too big. It's probably 5 to 10. I would guess around 7% too big. All right, you could probably shrink it by 7%, and it would look much better. I'll do a Photoshop for you guys so you can see. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Again, I think it's like the feet. Once you pose him, you probably won't notice it if you do a pose that's not accentuating it. If you do a pose that really makes the head look big in the first place, it's going to look even bigger. So I think those are things you can work around for sure, and those were the biggest issues, so be happy about that. Now, let's talk about the good things. The thing I absolutely love the most, it's kind of a two-parter, but we'll start with the more general. The matte finish is just wonderful. You're getting a little bit of light reflection, obviously, and it's not a flat finish, so that's fine, but the skin tone is probably closer to a flat finish, and then the suit is more of a matte finish, bordering on satin, and then we have a little bit more of like a semi-gloss for the boots. I love the combination of finishes, and then the kind of a flat metallic for the metals. It's gorgeous. I love that. And then the second part of that is the flesh tone. I love it. It's perfection. That is how you want to do flesh tone. It looks really, really natural. The sculpt is great too. You can see all the finer details. Mafex tends to do kind of a softer sculpt, and he still is fairly soft, but in particular along the chest here, there's a lot of really organic sculpting that looks great. Flesh tone is nice, and the way you want to shade a flesh tone is with a warmer color that's darker, and that's exactly what they've done with this slightly more tanned, orangish tan color. It looks wonderful for the flesh tones. I'm very pleased with that. And the paint job is pretty darn clean throughout. It's not perfect. You can see mine's kind of smooshed up there on his chin. I'm going to see if I can get them to replace that. I'm guessing they won't, but who knows. I'm going to try. And but yeah, it looks really, really good. Even the hair they did, I don't mind the way they did it. It's subtle enough that it's not in your face. It's not like solid black paint. It's like a grayish color. It's pretty faint. So it looks decent. I don't know that they needed the hair, but I get why they did it, and that's fine with me. So it looks really good. The zipper on the head, clean. On the back, clean. It's solid. I'm very, very pleased with it. The paint job throughout is one of their better paint jobs, albeit still fairly basic. No shading anywhere but on the skin, but it does look nice on the skin and brings him to life. Everywhere else it's solid. So I'm going to say aesthetically it's not perfect because of those issues, but they're probably workable. But still, I'm going to go 9. It looks really good. Arguably 8. But see, here's my hang up. The parts that aren't the problems look great. I love the flesh tone. It really brings them to life in the finish overall. Love it. But then those things are there. So you could say 8 if you want. I'm going to go 9. I value this more because I can hide the other things. You can't hide a bad overall paint job. You can hide slight proportion issues. So I'm leaning that way. You guys can let me know what you think about that. Okay, as far as accessories go, you get one alternate face, which is like an angry face. Looks good. I would have preferred an alternate head. I get why they did it because of the junk on the back of his head, but I'd rather not have a big seam all the way around his head too, so it's whatever, I guess, but whatever. Okay, so for hands, you get the 2 fist hands, then a bunch of other hands. None that are like proper gripping hands. You have 2 that are kind of close, but you're going to have some clever posing / photography, depending on what you want to do with this guy. It's going to be kind of hard to make him hold Batman. Because like, okay, so these are his gripping hands, the most grippy of the hands, and then those pinkies are in the way because he's not actually gripping anything with these hands. These are his clenchy, I'm gonna get you hands. And so he doesn't really have gripping hands. These are also not really gripping hands. These look like martial arts hands. So you're gonna have to be a little bit creative. So I would like that. And that's it. Also, I guess it would be better to have a different hand for him to use this tool, his pump thingy. He's just got the pointing fingers, which he can use obviously, but it looks kind of dainty, so you could have it like him punching it. That would be good, but you can also do that with a fist hand or like a smashing hand or something. So that's fine. But yeah, I think at least one more set of hands would be good. Maybe another face, because there's nothing else here other than the display stand. So it's a good enough spread, but it's nothing impressive. I'll go 8 out of 10 for accessories. All right, can he pose? That's going to be an important factor. I'm guessing he can. Mafex has been pretty solid about that lately. So let's see what we have going on. First, I'll just pop the face off so we can get a peek underneath. I haven't done this yet, so it's kind of tight. Okay, it's pretty tight. There we go. Alright, so we have a ball peg in here as you would expect, and then a ball peg in the neck. That's going to work just fine. Let's give it some poses and see. I'm guessing this isn't going to get in the way too much because this is pretty soft. It hangs down, so he's not going to look up as well. He's got junk going on back there, but he can look down, I'm assuming. Yeah, he can look down just fine, and then leaning to the side, no problem at all, either side, of course, and then you can rotate and lean, and ball pegs win every freaking time, and that is really nice. Okay, for the shoulders, you have, it feels like it's mostly the same as Nightwing. It's not exact, but pretty close. You can move it around pretty well on that ball, all the way around in there. Then you get your ball hinge, which brings it up to horizontal. That's fine. They do the kidney bean shaped, I guess I could say kidney shaped shoulders a little bit. It's still closer to a sphere than a kidney, so I don't mind that. That allows him to get his arm down straight. And it doesn't look bad when you bring it up. so that's okay. And then of course you're going to get your full rotation other than where this is connected, so you're going to have some limitations on this arm. Nothing they could do about that, really. Bicep swivel works nicely. It's nice and smooth. That's good. Double jointed elbow. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. You can't really get too much more out of that unless you're going to cut away chunks. So that's good. It's better than 90 degrees. And of course, this side's going to be all the same, but probably slightly better because we don't have the glove and the tuber, so I don't need to do both sides. And then your wrists are ball hinges, and that's fine. And I think that's right. Like, he's supposed to have a gap there between the forearm thing and the glove, right? I think so. I haven't checked. I didn't think to, but I'm thinking that's right. All right, so let's see about the torso. Does it lean back well? It leans back very well. Double ball peg, so you can take it all the way back. And then if you want the gap, because you're not looking at that angle, it's there. If you don't want the gap, just close it up a little bit. I wish they kind of rounded this out a little bit more. There's a little bit of a shelf going on. Don't love that. Definitely don't love that. Let's see how he does going forward. He leans pretty far forward as well. Again, a little bit gappy, but it's not too bad. The lats stick out a little bit back here. That's pretty much how you'd want them to do it. In real life, these would connect all the way up in here, but they can't do that, so I get what they're going for. And then let's see, side to side. Side to side works really well. That's good. So that's so far just the top joint. You get your rotation. Be careful with plastic rubbing on paint, but so far no problems. So that works well. Let's see how the bottom one works. Leans forward really far, so that's going to be your primary forward lean. And then you're going to add this on top of that. And then leaning back, it doesn't go as far. So that's interesting. The top one goes back farther, bottom one doesn't. And then the reverse is true for the front. Side to side, decent. Yeah, that's solid. And then you get your more rotation. So he's going to pose nice. Yeah, ball pegs work, guys. And that is solid. I like it. All right, his belt is floaty. It does connect in the back. They tend to do that. I wish they just wouldn't connect them at all, frankly. I don't think they need to. But it floats well enough and it gets out of the way, and the crotch is a soft piece, soft PVC, so that's good. Let's see how the hips go. They go basically full on splits. That is fine by me. It's just a classic ball peg. Unfortunately, it is the hinged ball peg, which is never my cup of tea. They tend to do a decent job with it. His is stiff and it doesn't seem to be too... there's not too much interference from one leg to the other, so that's okay. This leg's a little loose there, but yeah, it seems to be okay. So going forward without the drop down, you get to there. If you want to use the drop down and then bring it up, he can kick higher. You get gappy, but as far as drop downs go, it's a decent enough set. I still would rather they just don't do that and just engineer it a little bit differently, but his are okay. You do get a thigh swivel in there. It's pretty minimal. You can bring it to the inside a little bit more than you can the outside, so it's kind of limited there. Double jointed knee works pretty well. I'll take it. It looks decent. Could get more range, I guess, but it's probably enough. Proportioning's not too bad. I'll take it. No boot swivel. And then for the ankles, can we go farther back, or is that it? What's going on here? Is there a boot swivel? No. The ankle feels weird. What's going on here? Is it just a ball peg? I think they just did ball pegs. It feels like a ball peg. Okay. Well, it has less range than I thought going forward and back because it's a ball peg. It's probably enough. Like, it's not bad, but it is a ball peg. Okay. Can't see it anywhere. That's why I wasn't sure. All right, well, there's that. And then so because it's a ball peg, all of the ranges that are there in an ankle, I don't like ball pegs because of this. You get all this nuance posing, but you don't need that in an ankle. You just need forward, back, and lean. And so each of those is more limited than I would like for all of the trade-offs, which you don't need in an ankle. Toe hinge works. It's not a particularly good toe hinge, and it's not too stiff, so I don't care for that. So his ankle's kind of below, and feet. Ball pegs are not the best choice everywhere. Now, technically, you can do them. My one buddy likes ball pegs for ankles. I do not, because I don't need all that nuance posing. I just need those three directions. But otherwise, he's pretty solid. I think they have a winner on their hands. There are some downsides. Like I said, big feet, big head, other issues, but articulation's not really one of them. I'm going to go 8 out of 10 for articulation. Poses, I could do 9. Should I do 9? I'm going to say 9. It works well. The feet and ankles kind of blow, but they're good enough that it won't really be a problem. Yeah. Okay, so final verdict on this guy. Articulation, solid overall. Sculpt and paints, solid overall. Few things here and there in terms of proportioning and in terms of the ankles, but It's solid. I don't really have any huge complaints on this guy. I'm going to enjoy this one a whole bunch. I'm going to give this guy an overall rating of 9 out of 10. It's a little bit pricey, but it's a solid figure. It's big, it's got good paint, decent enough accessories, good articulation. I think anybody who buys this is going to enjoy this. It's expensive, but guys, if you haven't tried buying expensive stuff, buy less, buy fewer of the cheap things, and buy an expensive figure. I bet you you're going to enjoy spending your money on expensive stuff more because you get to enjoy the thing more. But that's just a hunch. But this is one that is definitely worth dipping your toes into. I like it. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Again, if you guys want to get one, there's a link in the description below, and get yourself one today. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.